What's up, everybody? Let me start off by apologizing. I'm going to force myself into a schedule where I watch the episode Friday, mull it over, and Saturday upload the video. I do work, but I still have enough time. I don't know. I just get into my. I was kind of addicted to Cal XY, and I watched like every episode in a short time frame. So that's what it is this week, why I'm late getting this episode up. It's going to be Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to force myself into a schedule. And with that being said, it's time to review episode 5 of The Legend of Korra called Peacekeepers. It is going to be a spoiler-filled video, so please stop watching if you haven't seen the episode. So I'm just going to jump right in and talk about the most important thing in the episode, which is Lin Beifong. If you guys do not know, I would like to marry Lin, and I would happily make that happen if I could. I was really excited to see her back, and she had some amazing lines. What the Flameo happened here? That was hilariously classic, and I was laughing out loud. And when she tells Mako, like, oh, you got off easy. You should have seen Air Temple Island after Tenzin broke up with me. I'm like, she messed up Air Temple Island. Can we get a flashback of that? Just a snippet. And then when she greets Korra, she's like, oh, hey, welcome home, you know. Thanks for starting a war. And I'm like, dang. It was one of those moments that's like, did she just say that to her without even hesitating or anything? That was hilarious. So I'm really happy to see Lin and also General Iroh, but Lin is top of the list as far as importance. But I'm going to move on to Varric here. I've written some things down. I like Varric. I really do. And I enjoy his character. He, that eccentric billionaire. I want to say though, I think somebody should make a list of how many different Julie do the things there are. Because he's always just like, Julie, do the thing, and she like always gets the correct thing. Where I'm like, what happens if she doesn't do the right one? And he's like, Julie, do the thing, and she brings the wrong thing or starts the wrong action. And is he going to just be like, no, Julie, the other thing, or is he going to fire her? I'm like. But like there are so many different Julie do the things, and I've lost track. But yeah, I like that line. I'm like always saying it to myself when I come home. I'm like, Julie, do the thing. I don't know why I love that. Now Varric, I like him, but he had some questionable lines this episode. The first one was he was like, oh yeah, I was the president's biggest supporter, and then he's like, oh, it was also the other guys too. I'm like. That's not good. That's actually kind of bad. And then he says, if you can't make money during a war, you just flat out can't make money. And I'm like, so are you supporting this war, or are you against it because it's your people are being invaded, or are you just trying to make money? So I don't see him emerging as a villain, but if he does, I'm gonna think back to those lines and think back to and watch this video and be like, I called it. But I'm excited to see the adventures of Nuktuk. I think that's a fun take on how to deal with the invasion, with movies or movers as they call them. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Varric. I really like that he's like kind of like taking Bolin under his wing, which is weird. I don't know when that really happened, but I think it's cool. And then I'm gonna move on. Talking about how he supported the president to the politicians in this series, which are unhelpful and just not okay. They're not good for the Avatar world, and I feel like electing a president is almost a step back, like in as far as evolution of Republic City, because with the council, although it may have just been for appearance, at least they had multiple people from different nations on the council. With the president, I mean, it's one person, they hold all the power, and I mean, the Avatar does, they're all powerful, but the Avatar has to become more cultured. They have to learn all the nation's philosophies, and they have to, be engaged in the culture of that nation, and they can look at things from a more rounded view than the president who's stuck in Republic City, who's probably going to start taking his power, letting the power go to his head and being narrow-minded. I think there needs to be a law because the politicians are not helpful. I think there needs to be a law if something is going to affect the balance of the Avatar world, if something is really grossly unfair, like an invading force coming to a tribe that doesn't have its own invading force, then Korra's or the current Avatar's power should supersede the government, the figure in power. He or she should be able to go above their heads, and that needs to be solidified into a law. I don't know. It seems like, because I mean, her people are being invaded and they don't have the means to fight back. So that's a really unfair advantage, and really the Republic City should be backing them. So, okay, I'm getting a little too serious. It's just a cartoon. It's just a cartoon, but sometimes I forget. I want to move on to Asami. Speaking of unfair, she doesn't have a father or a mother. That's really unfair to her, but she's a really strong female character. I love how she's taking control of her father's company. She's trying to keep it from going under. She's a pilot. She's a fighter. She's beautiful. She's just a wonderful, wonderful character. And so I'm excited to see if we do get some Mecha Tank action. I know they were the part of the Big Bad's boss level in the prior season, but I think that's going to be fun to watch because the Southern Water Tribe is really, they're kind of outnumbered and outgunned, and that's not okay. So now on to the big snap of the episode, the breakup, which of course they were arguing too much. No couple survives that much arguing. I do like the fact that Mako calls Korra out on her, mistakes. And it's like, well, you wouldn't have to save the world if you quit messing it up. Which is somewhat of an immature line, but it was perfectly amazing in that moment. So I was beginning to think that people didn't notice her flaws and her mistakes because no one called her out on it. I don't feel as though this is permanent. I think the ship has just ran up on dry land and is not moving. It's not sailing. I don't think it's sunk yet. But we'll have to see where it goes. I do think that Mako made the right choice. And the breakup was like the most interesting thing about their relationship, unfortunately, because it wasn't well written. Even the fighting wasn't. It didn't. I don't know. That was the most interesting thing about their relationship, and I like Makora, but it was a really great character development moment because Mako had this decision to make. He's like a police officer, and the president, his commander in chief, is asking him a question. It's like, who do I stay loyal to, my girlfriend, or do I do this? I like Mako. Apparently, some people don't. I personally like Mako, and I think he made the correct choice. He made the right choice. It may not necessarily be the most boyfriendy choice, and the choice that's going to be widely viewed as okay by others, but it was the right thing to do. But he should have let Korra know. He should have said something to Korra right after he told the president, so she could try to update her plan or something like that, because her family needs some support. And so I feel like it's coming from a genuine place, even if she is making another bad decision, trying to go behind the president's back. Like, at some point her authority should supersede this guy. But Mako should have said, like, hey, I had to kind of tell him, that you were trying this, and I think it would have worked out better. Now, as usual, I'm rambling. I want to go ahead and kind of close the video. I'm going to try and not make this video extremely long like my other videos. I was so excited to see Lin. The breakup, saw it coming. I don't think that's, it for the relationship. But what I want to say, when I was watching the first 4 episodes, I don't dislike it, but there was just something off, and I was just like, it's not working as good as it used to. Everything's kind of being just laid out for us, and it's not cleverly being, maneuvered. And I finally was like, you know what? I think it's lost some of its magic, and that's what I started to feel. I was just like, I'm gonna watch it because it's Mike and Brian. They deserve my viewership. They've never let me down. It's just not going where I wanted to, I think, or going where I can predict. And if I can't predict where it's going, I'm pretty much frustrated. And then I'm like, but is it going to end good? I don't know, because I'm not liking the start that well. Not as much as I liked the first season, and then of course Avatar: The Last Airbender. But I will say that this episode has made me start kind of falling back in love with it. I feel like the magic is starting to happen. Whether it's Tenzin and Milo and the family element, and or that the moment when you're watching the fight scene, and it's just everything that Korra was doing was so clever with the water and the air, and you had that, I kind of got that nerdy moment where I'm watching something that I like, and it just, made me more excited to watch it. I'm like, oh, that's so that fight scene was incredible. So I think I'm falling back in love with the series, and I really do appreciate the amount of work that they put into it. That fight scene was just incredible. I hate cliffhangers, but at the same time, it just makes me like, what is gonna go down now? Like, what are we gonna do? Oh gosh. And I need to explain this spirit bending kind of voodoo magic water bending, because it is water. Like, I think I've finally been able to come to a definite, like, yes, it's starting out as water as it's twirling, and then it lights up. So I need to know what that is. It doesn't really make sense. Water doesn't light. Like, I don't know, like, that's bothering me, but I'm falling back in love with the series. And then I just tell myself, like, I look at all the stuff that they play during the commercials on when I'm watching Legend of Korra, and I'm like, I guess I have a couple gripes about the season, but then they have this trailer for, like, I can't remember the name of the show. It's so forgettable, Sanjay or something like that, and they have this trailer that's playing in the commercials. I'm like, Korra could be the most hated thing in the Avatar universe and still be 20 times better than most of 90% of the programming, especially the cartoons on Nickelodeon. They're just, it's kind of frustrating that Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra can be so good and so complex. And that's another thing that came back, the complexity of the storyline. I mean, it's simplistic, but it's also complex, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, what? And Avatar: The Last Airbender gave me a lot of those, like, what moments. And so, but yeah, like, Legend of Korra could be the worst, the most hated thing in the Avatar universe, and it would still be better than 90% of the cartoons that are on television. Actually, like, Young Justice could have gave it a run for his money, but there's no other shows or cartoons that are like this good. So I think back to that when I'm complaining, but I really enjoyed the episode. As I said, I'm starting to fall back in love. I think it may have been the fight scene with Desna and Eska and that spirit coming up, and I'm just like, what is going to happen? Is she in the spirit world now? And so okay, I'm trying to not to make my video 1,000 years long, but I don't know. I just make long videos. So thank you so much for watching if you did. One thing, if she's in the spirit world, do they have bathrooms in the spirit world? As a matter of fact, they do not. So I hope she doesn't have to go to the bathroom, because there are no bathrooms there. So yeah, peace out. Thank you for watching. Comment. I will try to reply to everyone. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like my voice. It's kind of jarring. And also share me anywhere you want to. I do not care people looking at my old chubby face. It's a little more than chubby. But yeah, so peace out. And can't wait for episode 6.